The story begins with our main protagonist getting his body split in half. As he lies there with blood on his mouth, a screen pops up saying, "Player death and quest failed." Fast forward back in time, we see the main character scanning an item in a convenience store where he works. His name is Kim Ki-bong, and he dislikes his monotonous daily routine. In the following panel, he receives a text from his mother asking him to buy soy sauce chicken. The next minute, the protagonist and the entire store are shaken. He goes outside and is shocked to see monsters covering the city. Thinking it's a dream, he then hears a growling noise behind him. His immediate reaction is to run away, wondering how such a big monster could exist. As he runs, he trips and, frustrated, looks back only to find his lower half severed. Coughing up blood, he sees a monster behind him with tails like razors. Before passing out, a screen appears saying, "System alert, the Human Awakening Project has been launched, beginning the awakening test." The main character, confused, mutters, "Awakening?" The next minute, he is teleported to another place. He checks his leg, sees it's fine, and wonders where he is. A screen pops up saying, "Welcome, player. You are in the space of awakening." The main character is now in a computer-generated hologram. The screen says, "Awakening test begins," and a monster appears.
The monster attacked him and killed him. A message appeared stating that he failed the awakening quest and his body would be regenerated. After his body was regenerated, he was disgusted to see his previous corpse and threw up. When the monster appeared again, he panicked and tried to run, but it killed him once more. He responded, confused and frustrated about how to defeat the monster. The system explained that the test monster was a transcendent existence and was impossible to kill according to the program. Ki-bong asked who was communicating with him, where he was, and why he was brought there. The system replied that he is currently in the awakening test area, a specially designed area meant to be fair for testing purposes. The system explained that humans have the potential for awakening, and once the player awakens their abilities and lands a hit on the test monster, the test will end and they will be sent back to reality. The system also reassured the player that there was no need to worry about dying during the test, as his body would be regenerated no matter how many times he died. As Ki-bong surveyed the corpses surrounding him, he felt compelled to trust the system's words despite his doubts. He realized that he had no choice but to accept his situation or continue dying in agony. Just then, the monster attacked, but Ki-bong managed to dodge the attack. Suddenly, a message appeared informing him that he had successfully awakened and acquired a skill and ability called Body Enhancement. Ki-bong decided to attack the monster in order to complete the quest, as it was the only course of action available to him. As he landed the blow, a message appeared congratulating him on completing the awakening test. As Ki-bong shouted in victory, he was met with disappointment as multiple error messages appeared, including one indicating that he was unable to leave the test area due to an unknown error. Suddenly, the awakening test recommenced and the monster reappeared, catching Ki-bong off guard and resulting in his death. Ki-bong regenerated and shouted in frustration, and he was then killed again. He compared the experience to that of a game, noting that the unknown error was similar to a bug. He felt as though he was a game character, unable to progress due to the bug, and stuck in the space. Following Kong's death, he was recreated only to suffer the same fate once more. This cycle repeated itself for weeks, then months, and eventually a year passed by. During this time, Kong's mind began to deteriorate. Despite his body being regenerated, his mind was slowly being worn away, leaving him in a state of despair. A message then appeared informing that his health stat had increased due to continuous attacks on his body and the backup data would be adjusted. Ki-bong, however, was not interested and asked if the error had been adjusted. The system replied that the error had not been fixed and he could not escape the place forever. Ki-bong was repeatedly killed and regenerated over the course of 2, 3, and eventually 4 years. He had tried running away and resisting the test monster, which led to a significant increase in his stats. However, Ki-bong eventually gave up fighting as he remembered the words from the first day. After 10 years, He asked the system about the state of the world outside. The system replied that not much had changed and that time in this dimension passed 300 times faster than in his world, with 10 years here only amounting to 12 days in his own world. Kaibong remembered his mother's message and thought that he needed to buy her some chicken. He was then killed again by the monster. After 500 years of being killed and regenerated, Kaibong sat lifelessly with his memories fading away. He could hardly recall his family, friends, or even his own identity and was left with a single question that consumed his thoughts: why? As Kaibong repeated the question of why, the test monster attacked him once again. However, this time he easily deflected the monster's attack, fueled by his rage. Despite the idea of fairness and the promise of awakening, Kaibong didn't care about any of that. His only concern was why he was the only one with this error. All he had ever wanted was to live a life filled with excitement and enjoyment, and he directed all his anger and fury towards the test monster. 10 years had passed since humanity's awakening day. A crack appeared in the sky. An error message stated that the server was experiencing significant damage due to the destruction of its firewall. After breaking through the crack with his fists, Kaibong emerged as the test monster inside had already perished. Kaibong's awakening test lasted for 3,000 years, during which he was able to reach the maximum level for all of his stats. The system encountered an error and could not connect to the main system, initiating offline self-synchronization. Kaibong, who had been thinking about returning to reality for 3,000 years, asked the system where his mother was located. However, the system was unable to locate her as the function was not available in offline mode. Kaibong sighed and decided to go home for now. Kaibong arrived at his house, but was shocked to see that it was now in ruins. 2 soldiers arrived and told him that the area was now restricted to civilians and advised him to go to a safe zone. Curious, Kaibong asked the soldiers what had happened to his neighborhood. One of the soldiers replied in a surprised tone, asking if Kaibong had been living under a rock, and explained that it was due to the dungeon break that happened 10 years ago. Kaibong thought that the cause of the ruins might have been related to the monsters he saw before entering the test. He asked the soldier about the fate of the people who lived in the buildings. The soldier replied that everyone had died, leaving Kaibong in shock. However, the soldier added that the residents who were outside their homes at the time of the incident were evacuated to a safe zone by the government. The soldier suggested that Kaibong should head there if he was looking for someone. Kaibong grabbed the soldier and inquired about the location, to which the soldier responded that it was situated in Moontown. Kaibong wasted no time and hurried to the location. Like and comment, and also subscribe if you want me to recap more. It would be very appreciated. Thank you all for watching. Peace.